Hey, I'm Stacey, and this summer, me and my family went on an adventure of a lifetime. We visited Rome, Milan, Lake Como, Disneyland Paris, and London, and we thought we'd take you with us. This episode is the second episode in our Europe Adventure series, and this time we are taking you to Milan and Lake Como. Let's go! This part of our trip started at Roma Termini, the train station, where we got our fast train to Milan. This was going to take us 3 hours to get there, and we decided to upgrade our tickets to first class this time, only because it was only going to cost us £19 extra in total. What a bargain. Now with that, we got seating in the first class area, which is like either 2 seats or 4 seats together, all with tables, and we also got some drinks and snacks included on that. It was a really great experience, really smooth, and it showed you little updates on the screens here about where we were, how long it was going to take us to get there, and also the speed. Now this was definitely a fast train, but like I said, very smooth. Once we got to Milan, we went and got ourselves some coffee and snacks and had a little look around Italy in Milan. Now this was really near our apartment, so we took a stroll up. Now we've been to Vegas before and been to Italy in the Park MGM and thought we'd go and have a nosy. It is quite different because this is quite like a supermarket as well, but there's lots of places to grab pizza, Italian sandwiches, pastries, and also pasta, and just little bits and bobs as well while you're there. So it was really good to go and have a look around, but a bit different as well because it was definitely more kind of supermarket based. We decided not to grab something from here because, to be honest, the pizza just didn't look like our style, something we would really enjoy. So we decided to walk the gorgeous streets of Milan and head towards the area which I think is pronounced Brera. Hopefully I'm not butchering that, but we headed down there to go and get some food, and we ended up in Brera 29 where we got some pizza and pasta, and this was really tasty. Now I totally forgot to film it all, so you're only going to see a clip of the pizza here, but it was really good. It was really busy. The staff were fantastic and really accommodating, and we had such lovely wine here as well. After dinner, we decided to take a walk and just explore some of the sights around Milan. One thing we really wanted to stop for was tiramisu. Now at the grand old age of 36, I have never tried tiramisu, so I knew in Italy it was the place to try it, and we had heard of a place called Spun in Milan who do a kind of smaller range of tiramisu. Well, I say smaller range, but this is compared to some of them that do quite a lot in Rome, and decided to stop by here and try some. So we got the classic tiramisu and the Nutella tiramisu, and it was absolutely delicious. Here's a look after it. It had been in a bag for a while, so it's a little bashed up, but didn't take away from the taste. It was absolutely delicious, and so glad I tried it while in Italy. We then took a walk down towards the castle area and had a look around there. It was so pretty, all lit up at night time. There was an event happening that night, so we weren't able to go in. I didn't actually realise until after we'd been to Milan that you could go in there for free and look around the grounds, so that is a tip if you are visiting there in the near future. We had a little wander around this beautiful fountain area again, so gorgeous, all lit up, and my stepdaughter had to take a little minute to cool down in that heat and rest her feet. Now, one thing I will say about Milan is while we were there, we got bitten to bits by some sort of either mosquito or maybe the Italian form of midges. We've never quite worked it out, and we ended up with quite a lot of big red bites that lasted about 10 days. Now they were quite itchy at first, but they do clear up and it is okay, but the pharmacy does have things to help cool them down. We were wearing mosquito bands and still seemed to get bit. We thought it was from the sand area down there, but they are in other areas as well, so something to look out for, but definitely didn't ruin the trip, so don't let that put you off. We then headed up towards the Duomo. Now this building was absolutely gorgeous. It was just grand and spectacular to see, really. I wasn't expecting really to be in just absolute unbelief as I was with this one, having seen all the sights in Rome, and it was absolutely gorgeous. What I loved about this as well is either during the day at night time there was always buskers about and some live music, which created a really great atmosphere and crowd, and everybody was just there enjoying it, so that was fantastic to see. And you can see these two girls were just absolutely having the time of their life there. So we just explored around this area a little bit and kind of took it in. You can see it's really busy, so we stopped and got some pictures, and then we headed into the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele, which is a big shopping centre that has a lot of the designer shops here. You can see again this is quite busy at night time and has some restaurants. It has some bars upstairs where you can view onto the Duomo as well. And while we were there, we had to do the tradition where you put your foot in a hole that is literally in a kind of picture of bull's bits, and you spin yourself round 3 times for some good luck. And you can see it took me a while to get round there with those chunky trainers, but we all had to have a go at it, and there was a bit of a circle with people just jumping in and doing it. You don't need to wait to take a turn, just go when you can. And then we went and got a crepe to finish off our night. This was at an ice cream, well, a gelato shop just near our accommodation, and some Nutella crepes were just the perfect way to end our night after being on our feet for quite a while. Even with our train journey, I think we still were about 20,000 steps that day, but it was great just to get out there straight away, explore Milan. We absolutely loved Milan. It is, the only way we can describe it is it's just a feeling. It's just a really nice place to be, and it's a really good base to explore other places we found out as well. This is a little look at our apartment here. Again, we booked it through booking.com. It was called Lovely Apartment in Milan, and that's exactly what it was. It had a double bed here in the kind of bedroom area, which led out to a lovely balcony just onto a main street, but not a lot of noise apart from kind of one Friday night, I think it was. It got a little bit loud, but not for too long. They also had a sofa bed in the living room area, a full kitchen kitted out, and a bathroom with a brilliant shower. So we really enjoyed our stay here. Again, we didn't stay right in the city centre, saved ourselves a little bit of money by staying just outside, and again it was maybe about a 15-minute walk down. The next day we were on to our second day, and we went on the sightseeing bus tour. Now if you've seen our reel or short of this, you can know that we didn't really enjoy it that much, and this is because we just didn't find the commentary that engaging, and a lot of the time we couldn't get headphones or the headphone dock that actually worked, so that maybe came into it as well. But one of the things we wanted to go and see was the San Siro Stadium. We'd have loved to have done a tour of this while we were there, but there was a concert on, so make sure you check that before you're going. And with that being said, it also meant we couldn't even actually get anywhere near the stadium, which we didn't know until we had got on the bus and it told us that we couldn't get off at the stop because it was all set up for some Italian gig that was happening that night. If it had been someone we know, we might have went to it, but it definitely wasn't. After resting our feet on that bus, we decided to go a little wander around the shop, so that meant a stop into the AC Milan shop and also the Inter Milan shop. We've not really got a favourite, so we went into both and had a look round. I really liked the hats in here, I have to say. I kind of wish I'd got one. One thing we did not make enough time for in any locations on this trip was shopping, really. We just packed in so much sightseeing and things we wanted to do. Shopping kind of took a bit of a back step, and I wish we'd left some room just to get a wander around some of the great shopping spots in Italy and then in Paris and London as well, but unfortunately not this time. Just means we'll need to go back. And then we went to the Starbucks roastery. Now that might seem like a strange choice, but we have been told this is one of the biggest and most beautiful Starbucks in the world. Now it is totally different to your normal Starbucks, and as my stepdaughter said, it is more like a museum than a coffee shop. They actually roast the beans there. There is lots of merch to buy. The options for coffee are really detailed, and we watched some people making them, the baristas, and it was like a form of art the way they were doing it. It was very detailed. It was a wee bit later at night when we actually stopped by here, so we decided not to get a coffee because we definitely wouldn't have been sleeping then, so we just had a wander around. But they also have a bar upstairs which did look really good, and they did like espresso martini flights and things, so definitely maybe a good spot to check out if you're in Italy. but I was refusing to buy Starbucks there because Italian coffee was just so good. I wanted that. Then we went another walk up to the Duomo to see it during the day, and it was just as stunning as the night before. The only thing I'm going to say is that during the day the amount of pigeons in that area is crazy, and you'll see it here, them starting to fly and things, and some people were getting pictures done with it. That does not seem like a good idea to me at all. I don't know, just an absolute no from me. But again, seeing the Duomo during the day, it's just gorgeous, and it's good being in the area. There's those pigeons I was talking about there. And yeah, that was our part of our day 2, was just wandering around. Now, we made a bit of a bad choice for food this day, I'm not going to lie, we don't even have any videos of it. We decided to kind of veer away from the Italian food because this was now our 5th day in Italy, and there is only so much pizza and pasta people can have, I suppose, and we went to the Hard Rock, and that was just not a great decision all round. We were just looking for a bit of plain food, but it definitely wasn't the tastiest, and it was a bit of an error on our part, but we live and we learn. For the rest of the evening, we just listened to some buskers, walked around and saw the different streets, went back down to see the castle, trying to avoid those bites, and went for some gelato, and just took in our kind of last night in Milan, because the next day we had plans to do a day trip to Lake Como. We headed to Lake Como on a double-decker train, which I was just amazed at, and this took us about an hour from Milan. We just bought tickets at the train station, and then it was a bit of a mad dash to try and find our platform, but we got there and it took us straight into Como. Now, Como is just absolutely beautiful. We didn't really have much chance to explore it because we wanted to try and get to Bellagio. Now, we had a bit of a transport disaster that day, and with that, it was actually getting the ferry. Now, we'd seen we could get a ferry from Como to Bellagio. It took around 2 hours and was stopping at lots of different towns, but when we got there, the queue was huge, and they made an announcement to say the next ferry wouldn't be going until I think it was 3:20. We were there at 11 o'clock in the morning, and as it takes 2 hours, we would have no way to get back from Bellagio because they do stop, I think, about maybe 6 o'clock. So we had to find another way there. We did look at Ubers, which were about €100, and so we opted for the bus instead. And as you can see, a lot of people had to do the same, and they were squished on like sardines. We are so lucky we got a seat. You can see us sitting there, and we took this twisty, turny bus journey to Bellagio. Now, it actually didn't end up costing us anything because the card machine wasn't working on the bus, and the bus driver was just letting us all get on, but it did take an hour. It was quite boring, but it was at least getting us to where we wanted to be. So our plan that day was to go and explore Bellagio first of all, which is the place you do see all over social media. And to be honest, we didn't know much about the full of Lake Como, so we were just probably going to the most touristy spots. But it was an absolutely gorgeous place to visit, just absolutely stunning. It is quite pricey for things when you're there, so be warned of that. This does now off the bus and stopped, and you can see those beautiful views of all the mountains and the lake and everything. So we were going to go to Bellagio, and then we had made plans to go to Varenna as well. We just got our ferry ticket for Varenna in Bellagio. It wasn't very expensive, and it was only going to be a 15-minute ferry. Now, we had looked it up and we saw that we could get the train back to Milan from Varenna, but this is where the disasters continued, because as we walked up to the Varenna train station, it was actually closed for the summer to get work done, and nowhere online did we see that. We could have purchased our tickets online, no problem, but we weren't able to, and it ended up being 3 hours back to Milan via 2 ferries and a train, but we did get there. So we stopped off in Bellagio for some food just on the front and took in those views. Now, even with our transport disasters, this did not ruin our day here. Lake Como was just so serene, peaceful, even with the busy crowds. It is just one of those places I think everybody should see at one point. I can understand how people come on holiday here, and it would be great to have more time to just explore some of the little towns. So we spent our time exploring Bellagio. Like I said, we did a lot of steps in this holiday, and you can see that through everything you can see here on the footage. We walked a lot, so we took in the famous streets, went around some of the little gift shops, some Christmas shops and things as well, and it was just spectacular. It was just a really, really beautiful place. This is one of those iconic streets. Everyone was getting their picture taken, taking some videos and things, so we had to join in. And then we went for the ferry, and for most of the time we were just taking bets if we were getting on this ferry. This queue was massive, and the ferry pulled in and we all had doubts we were getting on. Look at the crowds getting on, but can you believe it? We made it on. Of course we didn't find somewhere to sit, but it wasn't as crammed as you would think it was. It was actually okay, and then that took us through the beautiful sights of Lake Como to head to Varenna. Now, we actually didn't spend very long in Varenna at all. We were going to sit down and have a drink, but the heat got the better of us at this point, and there was not really anywhere with air conditioning or a bit of kind of air to cool down. So we just took a little walk, and then that was when we tried to head for the train and instead went for the ferry. But I would definitely love to go back to Lake Como. It was just fantastic. Thanks so much for watching this vlog. As I said, this is the second in our series, so if you've not watched the Rome one yet, go back and watch that. Let us know any tips or tricks, or if you've got any questions about either of the places, please comment, let us know. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have got vlogs coming up of Disneyland Paris next, and then in a few weeks you will see us in Paris and London. The aim is to have the vlogs out every 2 weeks, and we've booked our next adventure. We are heading back to Lanzarote in October, and we are going to vlog that as well. So please follow along on our adventures, and thank you so much.